Hello, welcome to another episode of 177 Nations of Tasmania. Myanmar, known by some as Burma, is a country that has been essentially run by the military for several decades. Minority groups in the country, of which there are many, have been a target for the military, being killed or driven off their land and consequently forced to flee to live in refugee camps in neighbouring countries. One such group are the Karen people, who live in a province in the southeast of Myanmar bordering Thailand. It is estimated that around 1 million Karen live in refugee camps in Thailand, with currently little chance of return. Most of the Myanmarese who have settled in Tasmania in the last 2 decades or so are from the Karen community, and in this episode I am speaking with one of them, Gaynay, who fled Burma with her family as an infant and arrived in Tasmania at just 12 years of age. She explained some of the challenges Karen people experience in Tasmania, particularly with language and employment, and also how the community comes together to enjoy some celebrations and traditions here in Tasmania. If you wanted to explain to an Australian local a bit more about who Karen are, what was the key things you would tell them?
So, for example, if people ask me where you're from, I'll be like, I was born in Burma, live in refugee camp in Thailand, but I am Karen, which is spelled Karen, I spell out for them, or else they would, misunderstand with another culture.
But what distinguishes, do you think, the Karen culture?
So I think a lot of people doesn't really know, but I just explain to them that we are an ethnic people who live in Burma.
And there's a lot of different groups in Burma,
there's
too.
A lot.
If you meet someone from Burma in Tasmania, it seems to be about 90% to Karen.
Probably Karen, yeah. I think the Chin people live up in Loni.
Okay.
Yeah. I was born in Burma, in Myanmar. It's in I think it's sort of in the Karen state, in the village. I'm not sure exactly where. I was there for 4 months. And due to the war, my parents have to leave the village and we come to refugee camp in Thailand. It took them 4 months on the way, so I was 8 months when I got into the refugee camp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And if I understand rightly, the Karen region of Burma is sort of on the eastern side, mostly near the border of Thailand?
Yes.
Yeah. I did my research. And how long were you in the refugee camp for?
About 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you remember about that? Did you go to school there?
Yes, go to school there, play with friends, run around. We got no electricity or anything, so no running water at home, and we have bamboo houses.
So it was like it's sort of a temporary town.
Yes.
Do you remember how you, as a child, what stands out in your memory about it, or what feelings do you remember having? Just
fun. All the neighbor is your friend. Mostly everyone around there.
And so were most of the people, probably all the people, were they from the same region?
No, I think they're from different village sort of thing, but somehow they know, know each other.
For example, when you were in the refugee camp in Thailand, what sort of things did you do? What activities did you do as a child?
So we just play with their neighbors. We have a rope jumping, or we play with the stuff people make, because we don't have any electronic or anything like that. So, and we play with each other.
What sort of things did you play with? Can you give me an example?
So we will jump rubber band. So we will tie them up together. It's like a long rope sort of thing. So we jump over them. We have a group, your group holding the band, and the other group is jumping, and then we switch around.
Oh, okay, like a skipping rope.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of outdoor.
Outdoor,
stuff.
Yeah, a lot of outdoor stuff. Yeah.
And were there any facilities for kids at the camp?
No, we just playing on the side of the road and because there's no car or any motorbike running, so we don't have to worry about that. We just play beside the house or like along the road.
So you sort of had to make your own
Space.
space,
Yeah.
and your own fun,
Yeah.
and so on.
Which is pretty fun, I think. So if it's rainy, we will like run around in the rain, we get wet and dirty and stuff like that.
Yeah. So kids were sort of allowed to do their own thing.
Yeah.
And what sort of things do you learn there? What were the classes like?
Oh, they have different subjects as well, like English, science, history, Burmese, Korean, maths, mostly every subject sort of thing.
And what did your parents do before they had to leave Burma?
Oh, they like a farmer, like, so they do rice farmer or like veggie, and they raise chicken and pigs and animals.
So do most people in that area that live in the kind of rural lifestyle?
Yeah, that's how the lifestyle.
And if you can you explain a bit more about why people had to leave? What was the war
Because
about?
of the conflict between the Korean people and the Burmese military. So they want to take over the place. Then we come to the village, burn down the houses and kill people sometimes. And then just have no choice, but you have to leave and leave everything behind.
Yeah. So when your family arrived in Thailand, they didn't really have anything with them.
No.
Yeah.
My mum only have one set of clothes with her.
When you were living in the refugee camp in Thailand, were your parents trying to get out of there? Were they looking for ways to move?
No, we've never dreamed that we will be in, Australia or like any other country. We thought one day we go back to Burma if there's a freedom, but there's still ongoing World War II 2 days. So
Yeah.
I think my parents made a good choice. Like, they don't know it's Australia, just to go to the third country, but then we got accepted to Australia.
Like, how old were you?
I was 12.
And at that time, do you remember what your feelings were, or what?
I was so excited because I want to be on a plane because I've never flew in a plane before. I just got so excited to come.
And did you learn anything about Australia before you went, or did you know anything?
I think they have a 2 weeks of teaching about Australia, and they show us the map where you go and stuff. But I think I'm too young to remember. But my mom said she doesn't really want to end up coming because how Tasmania map is so small, and she was like, that's so tiny, stuff like that.
So you knew you were coming to Tasmania specifically?
Yes. And then when she asked the teacher who taught us, and then he said he'd been to Australia, but except Tasmania. So that make it a bit, my mom doesn't really feel like she want to come anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you remember what your first impressions were of Tasmania?
When we hop off the plane, I feel like we're in the fridge because we arrive here in August, which is winter time.
Yeah.
And we're not prepared with like layers of clothes, Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you went to school, you came to school in Tasmania?
Yes, because I come here in August, so I went to primary school for a couple months because December it's summer holidays. And you know how my name is, the Korean people will normally have like 3 word or 2 word, or I think 3 is mostly 3 word in the name. So my name is Gay Ne Sa, and then Sa is my last name, and people will think Ne is my middle name. So when I first come here, when people ask me like, what's your name? And because the teacher thought is that, so they just call me Gay. And back then I didn't know. I was like, when my friend asked me, what's your name? I was like, Gay. And they kind of laughed, but I don't understand the meaning back then.
Apart from having to adjust to the cold weather, were there any other things that were were a challenge to adapt
Yes,
to?
the language, because I couldn't speak English. Even though we learned like ABC back in the camp, but that's pretty much it. So we picked everything up here.
And how did you develop your English, or how long did it take for you to sort of be able to communicate?
To now. We went to school, and they have like classes for, it's called ESL back then. Yeah.
Yep.
So we have like classes, and I think we picked up as we go along.
And was it difficult for your parents to adapt?
Yes, very difficult. But I'm proud of them because now they can communicate with, Aussie people. But back then, it just, they got no English as well.
And that makes it difficult, and a lot of, to get work.
Definitely, especially Tassie. If you don't have the English and you don't have the connection, it's so hard to get a job. But finally, after now, like a lot of Korean people who live in Hobart, they work.
Did your parents get a job eventually?
Yeah, they're working now. My dad had a job through, Kelvin.
Mm-hmm.
So he was working alongside with him, and then now he got a full-time job in construction labouring, and my mum worked in the farm, like veggie farm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So how long did it take them to get their first job?
Ooh, I think my dad just recently got a job a couple of years ago, but my mum a few years back.
So it took them a little while before they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know a lot of older people.
It's hard
it's
for
much
them
harder.
because of the language and communication.
Yeah, and if you don't have the language, you can get isolated, and to get a job in Tasmania.
Especially in Tassie, if you do have a mutual friend, and then you don't have the language, it's hard. It's hard. But now I think most people is working now.
Yeah. Unemployment's quite low here, but you still have to know how to find a job.
Yes. Yeah.
And so on. And how old are your parents actually?
I think they're in their 60s.
And part of what I'm interested in my podcast is to find out why people stay and what they're like, why. Yeah.
I feel like home because I came here when I was 12.
Yeah.
And pretty much grew up here. I think 2 years ago, I moved to WA because my sister lived there. I moved to WA for 3 years, but I will always think of Tassie as home.
Mm-hmm.
So when people ask me where you're from and stuff, I was like, from Hobart, from Tassie,
Mm-hmm.
And then because my parents and my sister still live here, so I've come back here.
Like when you were getting to the end of high school, what did you have any kind of plan, or did you have an idea of what you wanted to do with when you left?
No, I'm not sure at that time. I thought of doing something in travel.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to college. I was doing tourism course, and I really liked it. And after that, after the school, like after year 12, I got a job up in Freshney Lodge.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked there for a while. Didn't really like it because it was far away from home as well, and I don't have a license to drive back then.
Okay.
So it's a bit hard to like go up and back. So yeah.
Yeah, it's fairly isolated
Yes.
as well.
Feel like I'm homesick.
Right.
Even though it's
And
not that
what
far.
kind of job were you doing there?
Waitress.
So what did you do after that?
I went back to TAFE to do travel course, and then once I finished that, I moved to Western Australia.
And so was your main reason for going to Western Australia, was that because you already had your sister there?
Yes.
And what did you do there?
I think I was working in the factory and stuff, but then I realized it's not what I really want to do, and it's not a long-term job.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing HK course. After that, I've got a job at the nursing home.
In Perth?
Yes.
And what was that like?
It's really good. It's a lot better than what I heard from people and what I've expect.
In what way?
Because you helping people, I think I feel happy when I help people, especially in those vulnerable people.
Did you find that the way, or have you found that the way we treat older people in here is different from...
Very different, because for Korean people, we will look after our elder at home. Like we don't have the hope for them to go and live or stay there. So we live together in like the same house sort of thing.
How long were you working the aged care home?
So I was working there for up to 2 years, then I moved back here. And then I got a job in aged care as well, but it's not in the facility. It's like a home care. I think I love that more.
So what do you like about that?
So I go to their house, so I will help them whatever they need in the house. I love that because they get to still live in their own home, and then I get to help them while they still live in their own home. And sometimes I'll take them to shopping, or like if they have appointment and stuff. It's really enjoying, I feel like.
And how long have you been doing that for?
I was doing that for over years. I like it, but it's not enough hours for me. And you have to travel to different places within a day. So I feel like I like it, but I need something else for myself. And then I found this job in on the newspaper. One day I was looking at the newspaper, and then I found a job advertised as a pharmacy assistant up in Claremont. And then I decided to ring them up and ask them, and they asked me if I have experience. I was like, no, like I have no experience, no qualification, but I work in, aged care, which is kind of related. So yeah, I'm very blessed to get offered that as a full-time.
And why did they give you the job, do you think? What about you were they impressed by?
When I go to meet the manager there, so he was having a chat with he just wants someone to be honest, someone to, like to learn something new, and I'm down for it.
Now there's quite a biggish Korean community in
Yes.
Tasmania, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many, but there's a lot of us here. And a lot of us move to mainland as well, because they come here, they feel like, some people move because of no jobs or too cold, like for the elderly people.
And also, as I understand, there's a lot in Korean culture, there's a lot of respect for
the
elderly.
elderly, yeah.
How are the elderly treated differently in Korean culture compared to maybe here? Like, what kind of respect do you have to show?
So when we were kid, so if you cross the LD, you have to bow down your head, and then when you're at school or like when you speak, you cross your arm. But here, if you cross your arm, it's rude.
Yeah, it looks like you're being a bit aggressive.
Yeah, but then back home, if you cross your arm, it's me. You listen properly, you respect. It's just different.
What would you say are some of the biggest differences or cultural differences between the Korean culture and what we have in Tasmania?
I think we live as even though we're not family by blood, we live as a family. We like to gather to, have meals together, stuff like that.
So you mean you mean your extended family, or just
like community, but neighbors, but more like a family sort of thing. And then, for example, if we have a wedding or birthday, if I invite you, you can bring your whole family.
Okay.
And you don't need to RSVP. You don't need to let us know before you come whether you come or not. The whole family is welcome.
So you always prepare for a big
meal, yes, extra for everyone.
From the sound of it, it seems that Korean culture is much more community based.
Yes. Yeah, community based. Yeah. I think it's more to that. Like, for example, it's Christmas and stuff. We don't do family lunch or stuff like that. We do because I'm a Christian, so we do as a church community sort of thing. We have like games, and we have service, we have like concert.
Yeah, well, how do you celebrate Christmas in the Korean community?
So we have like Christmas games, which would be in it like mostly we do them here on a Saturday, so we have games all day, and then there's like gift for everyone, and then on a Sunday we have the Christmas service, and then sometimes we have the Jesus story, so they do some action story.
Okay,
Yeah.
like the nativity, like a nativity play.
Yes, yeah, and then we have the concert after that and celebrate, and then have meals together.
Yeah, so it's quite a big community event then.
Yes.
And are there any other sort of events like that throughout the year that you?
I think back in the days we have like the leaders and stuff, the community leaders and stuff. They have like New Year's and Waystar ceremony, if you know the Korean, like in August, but not like a lot of them moved to mainlander and nobody take the responsibility for that place. So we don't really have much other than stuff from church. Yeah.
Okay.
Not so much in community, but we got a lot of stuff going on through church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that mean that most of the Karen here are Christians?
Yes, but some, I think Catholic and some Buddhists. We have mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any sort of customs or traditions from the Korean culture that you still continue here?
We have the Korean clothes, so we normally we wear them at church because that's a good opportunity. And we still cook traditional food at home, so we eat rice with traditional food.
So what's an example of traditional food for Korean?
So like rice, chili paste, shrimp paste, soup, and I don't know what you call it. It's not a porridge. It's called takopo, which is rice with bamboo shoot, and you add them together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it easy to make that in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because rice, you can get them everywhere, even Coles and Woolies. With bamboo shoot, we normally get them from the Asian grocery shop,
Okay.
which is in the tin. It's not fresh, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking it'd be pretty hard to get fresh bamboo in.
Oh,
Tasmania.
rare, so rare.
Yeah.
But sometimes in the grocery shop, they have some to sell sometimes.
What kind of things do you get together for?
So like birthday service, Thanksgiving service, on some anniversary.
And when you get together, like how do you celebrate, or how do you?
It's more like a Christian things. So we go to their place, whoever invite us, and then we have some prayers there, and then we have some food together.
And when you say have some food together, is it like there's a whole lot of food and everyone helps themselves, or is it a formal meal?
Everyone help themselves. So
Yeah.
the homeowner will prepare the food, and then everyone help themselves. That's the traditional way. Yeah, we don't really have a formal meal, I don't think. So, for example, if you invite to Australia wedding, if it's only you have you can't bring your family. Plus, you bring and share food. But with Korean culture, the host will prepare everything.
And do you see yourself staying in Tasmania for the
Yes.
long term?
It's my home now. Yeah.
And why?
I don't know how to explain it, but it just feel like home, because half of my childhood I grew up here, and then it just feel home.
What about it makes it feel like home?
I think I like the mountain, because in Burma we live surrounded by mountains,
Mm-hmm.
and we have like good landscape around here, and just the green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For example, in Western Australia, there's like flat. You rarely see a mountain or like something green, because it's really dry.
And is it? Do you have lots of connections here now?
Yeah, I think I have a strong Korean community here, and it feel like you connect as a family. It feel more as a family. Like, for example, even on a weekday we all go to work, but sometimes we still invite each other to come have meal together on a weekday. But I feel like in mainland, even though Korean people like it's really busy schedule,
Yeah.
it's feel different to me because I've been there, like I've experienced that, so that sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess in the mainland, people just don't have as much time, especially in the bigger cities.
Yes, and down here I feel more connect and more like a family.
Thank you for listening to another episode of 177 Nations of Tasmania. Don't forget you can also follow us on Spotify, Facebook and Twitter. Just look up 177 Nations of Tasmania. And thank you again for listening.